Hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We're going to give folks just a few seconds to hop on. For those of you who are already here, thank you for that. Drop a one in the comments and let me know if you can hear me. Would hate to do an entire live and nobody can hear me, and I have done that before. So, what can I say? Have done that before. So I'm Twanna Carter, and I am a career transition coach, and I help high achieving professional women overcome that doubt and anxiety that can come from transitioning into a new career. And I do that by helping them to recognize and communicate their unique value and by instilling a deep sense of belief in their own skills and abilities so that they can confidently and courageously create success on their own terms and pursue that career that is absolutely perfect for them. Thank you for hopping on again. And today we're talking about that dreaded question. It doesn't come up in every interview, and you know it's coming if it's coming, and you're just like, oh, but you still freeze up. It's like, why are you leaving your current job? And you're like, oh, why are you asking me that? I just want out. I just want out. And you can't really say I just want out, right? You really can't say that. So I see some folks. Hey, Larkus, thank you for the feedback. So Larkus, and I'm pronouncing that right. Larkus says she could hear me just fine. I am happy LinkedIn. I can see your comments. There was about 2 weeks you guys were commenting, and I couldn't see the comments. So they got that little hiccup fixed, and I'm glad that I can see the comments. So the rest of you feel more than welcome to comment, ask questions. For those of you that are in my Facebook group, Courage to Transition Your Careers, I won't see your name. I'll be able to see your comments, but not your name. So if you want me to see your name, you'll have to click that link and give StreamYard permission to show your look. Okay, so Angela says, good evening to all. Hey, Angela, how are you going? Okay, so Larkin said I got it right. Excellent. So my daughter is Jasmine. She spells it JSMYN. She's very picky about her name so much now, so much so that now I have to get everybody's name. I want to be sure that I pronounce it correctly, right? So without further ado, here's the first thing that I want to tell you. We're talking about how to answer that dreaded interview question: why are you leaving your current position? Why are you leaving your current job? If you don't remember anything else that I say tonight, if nothing else gets etched into your mind, let this be etched into your mind. Okay? Here's the most important thing you got to do when you answer that question: keep it simple, shut up. Remember that. Keep it simple, shut up. That's it. I'm done. We can turn off the cameras, turn off the lights. I need to go. Okay, just kidding. But keep it simple. Give your answer, make sure it is short, and then shut up. What happens when you are nervous? And a lot of us are nervous going into an interview, and you want to make a great impression, but when you're nervous, there's this tendency to get diarrhea at the mouth and things that you never thought would see the light of day inside an interview, they just roll out because you're nervous. Seen it happen. I seen it happen. I used to help veterans find jobs, and some of the folks would let me sit in the room with the veteran. And I'm telling you, or sometimes I sit outside and I rehearse the veteran. This is how you answer interview questions, all of that good stuff. And then they get in there and they would get nervous, and then they just get diarrhea at the mouth. And I'm sitting outside going, "No, that's not what I said I'm gonna say." But it happens. Okay, it does happen. But if you keep it simple, shut up, kiss you, right? I know y'all thought I was going to say something else, right? Keep it simple, stupid. No, we're going to take out the stupid. Keep it simple, shut up, kiss you. That's the main thing you need to do. It's the main thing. The second thing, if you don't remember anything else, however you answer that question, answer it with confidence. You should have already practiced your answer in front of the mirror, looking yourself in the eye. You should be able to look at that interviewer and say, hey, diddle diddle, cat in the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon. The dog laughed to see such a sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon. Makes no sense, right? But it doesn't matter. I said it with confidence, was looking in that camera. That's what you want to do when you answer that question. Keep it simple, shut up, and be confident in your answer. Those two things. And the way I taught my veterans and the way I teach my clients now is we go over, teach you how to answer the question. You stand in the mirror, look yourself in the eye until you rehearse until you know it backwards and forward. Because only then, when you hit that question in interview, you will remember all the times you practice and it will just flow out. You'll be confident. You want to be calm. Say what you got to say. Keep it simple. Shut up. Because otherwise, things start running out the mouth and it just gets really bad. I've seen it. It can happen. So keep it simple. Shut up and be confident. Right. So there are lots of reasons why you could be leaving that job right now. It could be a toxic workplace, and that's you don't want to tell another employer it was a toxic workplace. It was horrible. People were crazy. You may be thinking it, you don't really want to say that. And maybe I'll add a third thing to this. Never criticize the old employer or your current employer. Don't do that because employers going, yeah, if you can do that and say that about them, you'll say the same thing about us when you leave. And I had a veteran that did that. I went through everything, taught her what to say, what not to say, and she got in there. Whatever happened at the last job, she left that job to go to the interview, and she was, I don't know, something happened. She was really upset. And so when I talked to the manager, she said the whole interview she spent dogging out the other employer. I can't work with someone like that. Employers are just like that. They're like us. If you talk about your best friend, you're probably going to talk about me too. So don't do that. Maybe that should be number three. Don't badmouth your employer, current employer, or any other employer. And you never know who knows who. So you really got to be careful with that, right? And so again, some of the reasons it may be a toxic workplace, the reason why you're leaving, you just may do like I did 11 different times, a career transition. I was bored with the job. I was bored and I did a career transition. It may be the fact that you're looking for a leadership role. You could be an employee now and you're looking for a leadership role. Maybe, you're a supervisor and you're looking to be a director or a manager. Maybe you're looking for growth. Those are all reasons, right, to change a job. How many out there have had one of these reasons? Drop a two, or better yet, drop the reason why you've done career changes and you found a new job. Was it because it was a toxic workplace, or was it because you were looking for that promotion into management or leadership? Was it just total 180-degree turnaround? You were doing something totally different. I did that. I went from the military, then I did teaching. I went from teaching to being a health inspector. So I think before that, I went to corporate. I was a facilities administrator. So I know people go like, yeah, 11 career transitions. So the 11th one was into full-time entrepreneurship. But each one was a pay increase, right? And so that was my reason oftentimes was a pay increase. So Shanita says pay and toxic workplace. Love it. Angela says leadership position and proper compensation. Yes, Angela. Yes, yes, and yes. And that's okay to say that, right? It just sounds better than they worked my last nerve. I was so sick and tired of seeing these people every day. If I don't have to see them again in life, you don't want to say that. That's again, you may be thinking it, but not. Don't say that in the interview. Maybe not even in your head while you're interviewing, right? So absolutely, those are all great reasons to be transitioning from a job. Okay, so let's get down to the nitty gritty. How do we answer this question, right? Let me just say, I talked about being confident because here's what I've seen some folks do, and I've said on some interview panels. Yeah, so tell me why you're leaving the last job. um, so um, um, that right there, because you were answering questions like rolling through, and all of a sudden you get this question and go, So now as an interviewer, I'm interested now because what's going on, right? So Shanita said, I didn't feel like I was learning or growing. Excellent. Those are all, yeah, she's peek. Did you peek into my presentation? I think Shanita did peek into my presentation. Yeah, that's what I got. Well, I might just go ahead and wrap this up because Shanita's got them all, right? She hit them all. Okay. Definitely thumbs up, right? So again, that's why you want to practice to be confident because you don't want to be on a roll answering interview questions. You get to why you're leaving and you start stumbling. So no, you want to practice that. So if your reason, it could be depends. Like I've had jobs where people say, "Hey, Twanna, did you see this?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm not really planning on leaving the job right now, but the opportunity was like the perfect match." It was like, I'd be crazy not to apply for this. Why wouldn't I? And so, if that was the case, right? So she just said, "No, LOLs. These are the reasons." I'm on Indeed every day right now. I got it. I can certainly understand that. So if you were recommended to the job from like your mentor recommended you, someone in your network recommended you, or a friend or family member, say that. Like, yeah, I wasn't really looking for anything, and a friend or my mentor recommended me for the job, recommended the job to me. I took a look and it was such a great fit. And I decided to apply because it allows me, and then go into that job and tell them the list of things it allows you to do that you're excited about, right? Because remember, there are two important things in this interview. One is to make yourself look good, and then to kind of flatter your new possible employer a little bit, not too much, not overboard, but you do want to be flattered, right? So Shanita, I'm sorry, Shanita said the job lied about the duties and workload. I feel bamboozled and hoodwinked. So yes, that's a big thing, and I actually teach my clients how to turn around and interview that employer to ask those right questions. But this is a common thing, sadly. People do. You get in there and they shift. It's like a 180-degree shift, right? Or I tell my clients, look out for a very broad and vaguely written position description. That's like a cue that it's no telling what you're going to do when you get into the job. Some people will purposely write it broad and very vague. So when you come in and it's something you don't want to do, it's like, yeah, additional duties assigned. Well, what additional duties? And they get a lot of people like that. So absolutely, I can understand that. Okay, so that was number one. If you're recommended to the job, and I've actually been in workplaces where the supervisor was like, "Hey, this job came open. You would be good for that." If that's the case, tell that employer so they know you're not trying to, like, no, my boss recommended me to this position. She felt or he felt it would be a great job for me, a great fit for me. If that's the case, tell the employer. It's perfectly fine to say that in an interview. Okay. So number two, if you're leaving because you were like me, I would get bored stiff. Give me 4 to 6 months in the job, and I was bored and ready to leave. I stayed though. I didn't just leave. And I have left the job in 2 months, and I've left the job in 3 months. They were both toxic. So I will work with my clients on doing that. We have to be careful about how many times you do that. But once they work with me, that next job is typically it, and they're able to stay. But if it is boring, you can say things like, I'm really looking for a challenging opportunity. You know, in the 5 years or in the 3 years I've been in my current job, I've done everything I could in this current role. And so now when I looked at this position and I saw that you were advertising for this, you listed that, anything that they listed that really got you excited, talk about it. Yeah, I'm looking for a challenging opportunity. And in my current role, I've accomplished everything I can. And so I really got excited when I read this job description and you said this and you said that and you said that. Again, your goal here is to make yourself look good and to flatter them a little bit with the position so they know that you're excited about it. Perfectly okay to flatter, but you can't go overboard with it, right? So, reason number three, if you're new to leadership, in other words, you're an employee and you're now new, or you're interviewing for your first time leadership position, say that. It's I'm excited to be moving into leadership, and I'm excited about this role, and then tell them why you're excited about the role. Again, you're already saying they understand it's a promotion for you. So definitely there's some money on the table. Hopefully you're getting a promotion. If you're going to be a leader, doesn't always happen, but it should, right? And then let them know that you're excited to be leading, be a leader in their organization because XYZ. List them out. That means you really do need to know that job description so you can refer back to it and pull those things out. Because later on, you should be asked questions about how you fit the role. And you're already, kind of wetting their whistle about where you think you fit the role. That's like a win-win, right? Totally win-win. So Any questions out there? Is this making sense? Are you guys finding this useful? Give me a 3 if this is useful, or you can just drop useful in there too if you get lost in those numbers. But let me know if this is actually useful to you, because I do want to be sure that I'm hitting what you need to hit. And if there's something I'm not addressing, because I've got you know, I've got seven of these to go through. So let me know if I'm hitting what you need. Okay, appreciate it. Okay, so if you are not new to leadership, in other words, you're already executive, and you need to come up with a reason for moving. Okay, so Larkin says useful. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Angela says it's very useful. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate that as well. Thanks, ladies. Okay. So if you're already in leadership position, already, in executive position, then your answer could be after some introspection, I decided to go another direction. And I'm not able to do that at the current job. Okay. And so this position really aligns with what I'm looking to do. And again, label, tell them what it is in that position that fits you perfectly, right? Really simple. Okay. Again, you want to keep it short. You want to keep it short. Kiss you. Keep it simple. Shut up. Just say what you gotta say, and then stop. Because typically, the longer we talk, the more details we add. You give people ammunition to come back and question you on, and then you go like deer caught in headlights. Like, did I say that? That roll out of my mouth. Oh. And you want to be careful. And I will say this sometimes an employer knows why the new person knows why you're leaving because they know people in the old place you're leaving from. So that's another reason why you want to keep it simple, shut up. You want to kiss you. Keep it simple and shut up. They kind of have an idea. Sometimes employers have gotten like 4, 5, 6 employees from that company. And so they know that there's something that's not quite right. So that's why it's no use in you going to, yes, it was toxic, it was horrible, the managers were ugly, they were rude. You don't need to do any of that. And I've been in places where it's been as much as 6 or 7 people from one agency that went to a new one. So at that point, the turnover is high. People kind of know what's going on. They just want to see how you're going to answer that question. Will you stay professional? Will you stay above board? And will you stay on point? And if you kiss you, keep it simple, shut up, you can stay on point. Right? And so number 5, if it's the hours, it's like, a slave driver, or it could have been you're on shift work and you may have had a baby or someone in the family is sick and you just can't work those hours anymore. The answer could involve something like, yes, I love this particular job, but it's really important for me to have a healthy balance. I work hard, and when I play hard. So I'm looking for a company that respects and values time commitment and flexibility, right? And so that's when you're sliding it in there. If you don't work hard people, then you need to be upfront with me because I don't want to go from the pot into the frying pan. But that's a great way of putting it rather than I'm sick and tired of working all these hours. It's forced overtime and I don't want to do that anymore. You don't have to address any of that. Again, oftentimes, and that new potential employer already has people from their job. They know what their job is like. And so you don't need to go negative, like Michelle Obama said, when just don't go low, just go high. I know it's, sometimes you want to play petty limbo, but not in job interview. Petty limbo when you're talking to your friends, but not with the hiring manager, right? It is also okay to say if there are no growth opportunities, if you've gone through the ranks and you're an executive, there's nowhere else for you to grow. It is okay to say I'm looking for challenging opportunity. There was nowhere else for me to grow here. And when I saw this job, it matched what I wanted to do. And then tell them again, list out those things, how it matched you and how that fits where you're trying to grow, because sometimes you do grow out. I mean, my first job I got with the federal government, I didn't know a lot about jobs, so I didn't understand what the CP meant after the job title. So I got in the job and I waited my year and I went around to figure out why I hadn't got my promotion yet to GS11, and they're like, this is a career progression appointment. What does that mean? There is no promotion. I was stunned. I was stunned because I did not come into a federal service and be a GS9 for my entire career. No, that was not the purpose of doing. So sometimes it happens, So again, if you see an announcement, federal government, it says CPES, that means career progression. There are no promotions for that job. Some folks will take those jobs just to get in the federal government, but they know they need to leave. I did not know that. So it was a hard lesson learned. But that also meant that there was no growth opportunity in their job. Zero, none, ever, none, right? And so it's okay to tell a new, in an interview, it's okay to say, this job, there's nowhere else for me to grow, right? And then number 7, if you are laid off, it is okay to say, yep, layoffs are coming. Yeah. I've been given the pink slip. We'll be laid off in 2 months, 3 months, 30 days, 60 days, or whatever. And so as I was out looking for this, it matches exactly what I'm doing. This is a wonderful job because I'm also allowed to do, and then go down and again, list what that position description says that fits what you know how to do and you know how to do well. Because again, your job is to make yourself look good and flatter your new potential boss there about that position as well. But what you're doing in the flattering, yes, it's a great job, but you're also telling them where you fit, how you fit, and why you are a good fit, right? And again, practice these all, whichever reason you're using here out of the 7, right? Practice in front of a mirror. Look yourself in the eye. And when you can look yourself in the eye and answer the question over and over, you got it, right? And then the only thing you want to work then is being comfortable and being confident when you deliver that answer. So you kiss it, you kiss you. Keep it simple, shut up. You know, that's the thing. So let me know. Give me a number. Let me go back over the numbers again. Which one of these reasons have you used in an interview? When they asked you why you left your job, was it number 1, the job was recommended to you by whomever, friend, network, mentor, supervisor? If it was a 1, drop a 1 in the comments. And if it was number 2, looking for a challenging opportunity and you're just bored, right? That whole thing is, I'm bored stiff with this job. I need something else to do. And see, I would have to drop a 2 right there because I did this with so many times. But I dropped a bunch of 2s. I dropped a lot of 2s in there because yes, I changed jobs because of boredom several times, right? Or is it number 3, you are a new leader, you were a new leader, you were getting that promotion, looking for your first position. So maybe it was number 3. Or was it number 4, you are already executive and you just decide, I don't want to be here anymore. Or you saw the handwriting on the wall. I'm really great at seeing the handwriting on the wall. And then just before there is a major shift in that employer, I'd leave. I've seen things shift and leave and folks who did not, they were just miserable. Sometimes there's new management, new things. And sometimes it just, as I say, it just bees that way sometimes. You don't like the new management coming on. So Angela said a number 2, she was bored. Yeah, that was my issue quite a bit, right? And so number 5, is it the hours? Either it's a high stress, high pace job, or you're on shift work. You don't want to do shift work anymore, or you're just working those 50, 60, 7 hours a week and you want to back off because you really are looking for that work-life balance. And it's okay to say that, right? And number 6 was, there just was nowhere for you to grow. You tapped out either, pay wise, position wise, you've done everything you could and you tried everything within that company to get promoted. There's just nowhere for you to go. If that was you, drop a 6 if that's why you've changed your job and you told the employer that. And then number 7, anybody out there has been laid off before? Yeah. So I've only been laid off when I worked for Toys R Us when I was in college after that Christmas shift. So Larkin says she's a number 5, the hours. Yeah, trying to find that work-life balance. And really, that's why there's this great reshuffle, the big shift during the pandemic, is we had time to go home and sit and then do this introspection. Why am I working 60 hours a week? Why am I doing that? There's a lot of introspection. I did the same. I went through the same process. And then I came to the conclusion that I resigned my 6-figure job to run both of my companies full time. I'm also a licensed therapist in addition to being a career coach. So I do that full time now. And it's been absolutely the best decision ever. That's what worked for me. It doesn't work for everybody. Full disclosure, my counseling company is 12 years old this year. So I was well established. I was just doing it part time just as a little side income. So, it was nothing more for me than to go from part-time to full-time, and really full-time for me in that business is about 20 hours a week. I really don't want to work 40 hours a week anymore. So that's what, really works for me. So ladies, and gentlemen, I thank you for being here. Let me know if you have any questions or clarifications for being here. If you are in the position and you're looking for something else, I do have a career makeover program. It's a 4-month long program. That is where the magic happens, and I help people transition, in their career, either a 180-degree transition. Some folks are looking forward to just going into leadership. Whatever the reason is, if you want to set up a free consultation, and I actually do that, it doesn't cost you anything. There is a link on the frame, and I will also put another link in that you can, because it's working this week. I was trying to figure out why I couldn't put my links in there last week, and so that got fixed, and so actually I can put my link in there. This is where you can set up a 15-minute consult with me, and if it clicks and you're looking, you're okay with going further, then the next thing I do is I offer 45 to 60-minute free consultation. That's where we do the deep dive. That's where all the magic starts to happen, right? We figure out what you need and where you need to go. So thank you, Angela. Much appreciation. I thank you for being here. I thank all of you for being here. Those of you who catch this on a replay, do drop hashtag replay. And you can also ask questions and make comments, because I always circle back to get those questions and comments. Thanks so much. And I will see you back here next week, the same exact time. I am here each Wednesday at this time. Take care. Bye bye.